So this is the fourth year of the Keg and Cask, and from a police side, I don't think we've had any issues, any real disruptions or anything by the attendees of the event. Am I correct?
That's a wonderful event.
And so they are here asking for a road closure and an alcohol permit. And as if you look at the application, they also ask for some time considerations. So it's looking like
2 to 10.
2 to 10. Is that right?
Yes.
And the only thing I would suggest is quiet hour is 10 o'clock. So any tear down or anything, if we're going to do it after 10, we're going to have to keep it pretty minimal. It's going to have to be pretty quiet because 10 to 7 is the quiet hour for under ordinance.
Let's say it's been 8 in the past.
When did
Yes.
they shut down?
8 o'clock in the past.
Why did we extend it 2 hours?
Your Honor's appropriate proceed.
Certainly.
Go ahead,
It's
sir.
a matter
The
of-
reason why the committee is asking for the extension is because this year, the event is coinciding with 3 other events that are happening in town at the same time. And we felt there was a large pool of people here for the Cascade Cream Puff, the Ukulele Festival, and the Just Us Music Festival, the concerts in the park, as well as the Keg and Cask. And we felt that if we extended the hours, we would be able to provide a bigger event for people and still have it finish when daylight concludes at 10 o'clock, typically in midsummer. So what we were trying to do was to capitalize on the amount of people in town. And of course, as you know, that the funds are distributed amongst the 4 groups, with the majority of the money going to the food bank.
Okay, and I do have a housekeeping
Okay.
question here. On here you have event sponsor as the UWCDC. And then you signed this form. I would feel better, especially since I'm a member of that, that you also put on here that the event sponsors is who you are actually signing for, because nobody from the UWCDC signed this form. Yes.
I've done this the last several years, so I helped Steve do this, and I think the reason that we said the UWCDC sponsors it, because we fall under their insurance, our insurance, I'm on that group too, and we use their tax ID for the nonprofit and stuff. So I think that was why it says UWCDC instead of Keg and Cask, plus we're the umbrella for Keg and Cask, or, well,
Right.
and stuff.
But you
So I
where
understand
I'm
what you're
coming
saying, but I
from.
just wanted to clarify
It
that
says
was,
that it's the UWCDC, so in that case, then I think somebody from the CDC probably should have signed it.
because usually it was my signature on there, which I wasn't in the past time on that group either, so.
Either that or put UWCDC as the main sponsor and then the other groups as well.
Thanks for clarifying.
That, to me, that just protects everybody. And one more question?
Yes.
Is there any reason why we couldn't cut this back to like 9 o'clock?
No, because I think the ordinance says 8 o'clock.
Does the ordinance say?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Isn't
I
that
think
why it was 8
that
o'clock
they need to be
before?
done and out of there before 10 o'clock, because that's what the city ordinance says.
Your Honor, the quiet hour is 10. It's just been past practice by the council, and that's
Actually,
what they request.
there is a written policy of 8 o'clock for the park. And in here also, are you planning on having music?
Yes.
Okay, and there is a noise restriction on the music that applies here just as well as it does in the park, and that's 80
It's
decibels.
supposed to fall within the decibel requirement.
80 decibels at 500 feet. I don't know what it is if you were living where Mrs. Kelly is from.
110.
Yeah, we'd have to find out, I guess. Because they're right across the street, aren't they? Is that where you plan on putting them again, right across the street? Nancy?
That was one of my issues last year, is that it was right across the street, and then the speakers were actually angled because of the new building, the new library. They were actually angled towards my house, so that made it even louder.
Gary?
Trying to put myself in Nancy Kelly's shoes, I think I'd be pretty upset. And I was just thinking, if I were in Nancy Kelly's shoes, I might like to get out of town for the weekend. And I wonder if the Keg and Cask Festival has talked about that with Ms.
Yes.
Kelly? and
Yes.
whether-
Yes.
That's been offered to us.
Well, I wonder if Ms. Kelly would consider that now. The past is the past, the present is now.
Unfortunately, with the property damage and the other issues, I just can't leave my property. And I think that's a really poor way to ameliorate a situation when people have a liquor license involved and other things. What I've offered time and again is that if it was closed off at the library area and extended towards the other part of town, I think that would solve a whole lot of issues. And would also bring in more of the other people who would like to participate, other businesses and such.
That doesn't eliminate the noise issue.
Pardon me?
I said that doesn't eliminate the noise issue. The noise issue is going to be the noise issue.
Right, well, once you have something at 80, at 500 feet, and you move it from my house, you know, which was 40 or 50 feet, and you move it 200 feet, that's gonna really change it. I mean, for instance, have you ever heard me complain about the corner bar and grill when they have karaoke night? Never, because they're 200 feet, 300 feet away from my house. Makes a huge difference. So I know that Mr. Sobel has an issue with it being moved down that way because he feels that it will divert traffic, but if it's set up, I believe, where it closes off between the library and his building, he will still have plenty of access, and then people would be directed, and perhaps the music would be directed towards the next street. And I think that would make a huge amount of difference. Pardon me?
I think we ought to consider not going to 10 o'clock just because of the ordinance, the noise ordinance. And I know, having cleaned up the last couple of years, it gets pretty noisy. Those chairs in the back of the truck just to get them off the street. 10 o'clock may be too late for that reason only. I mean, I'd love for it to go to 10 o'clock. I'd love for it to go at midnight for that matter.
And on here they have the street closed from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. for setup and tear down. And it's closed from between Alder and Ash Street, East First Street. Alder being, which one, the one that runs?
The next one over Ash, and then one more.
The next one over this way?
Mhm.
Okay. Alrighty, what is the will of the council?
I have a question.
Yes.
Nancy, you mentioned property damage. You made a claim against the organizers for property damage?
A lot of it was small amounts of damage that I took care of. A lot of it was people trespassing on my property. And a lot of it was animal excreta and people being intoxicated. So those are the
And you
issues.
lumped all that under property damage, good.
Property damage was very minor, as I said, except for having to pick up after other people's dogs, which was quite a lot. And I did make a complaint, but, you know, my complaints have not been registered. I was denied the ability to make a formal complaint.
Well, I would believe that if you had any extensive property damage, that you would make a claim against the organizers under their insurance policy, you know, because it would be their responsibility to protect your property as part of their event.
Right. Right. And like I said, I took care of most of that. The damage that I have there now is from a previous issue, unrelated to the keg and cask.
Okay,
But I
Rusty?
just don't know 300, 500 people in front of my house.
Well, I guess I just wanted to say that, I'm sorry if that happened, but when we set that up, there's fencing set up on the inside of the sidewalks, so it's in the street. So the event is not, you're talking about passing on damage or whatever to the event. Our event is on the inside of the fencing that we set up, which is not on the sidewalk. And I know because I've sat there the whole event at the gate as people come in. There are very few dogs that come into the event. There are a lot of people walking their dogs, and I don't know how the event can be held accountable for the fact that maybe people walk their dogs on the sidewalk and they go to the bathroom and they don't pick it up. So I guess, I don't know how the two coincide, because we do fence that off. And we're on the inside of that fence. And it's once people enter that gate, they come into the event that we become responsible as the event organizer. So I just wanted to point out, we do rope it off, fence it off, and paint it, so.
Randy?
I've been part of this since the start, and I would say that 95% of people come this way and come in. Very few people are coming in from that access point down there. So there might, right, because there's no entrance there. So there might be a few people that walk by on the sidewalk, which is public property, that come in that direction. Also, I believe that whole area is commercially zoned, correct? That's commercial? Okay. It's not zoned residential.
Except that my house is single-family residence in a commercial zone.
In a commercial zone, correct.
That's right.
Okay, I'm gonna let you have one last shot at it, Nancy, and then we're gonna do something.
Oh, just about, it's kind of a clarification of what he's saying. Yes, the roped-off area is where things are supposed to happen, but it doesn't always happen. And people spill out, people come out, people use that egress around my property. I've asked for it to be blocked off. Last year, they blocked off the other side, which was nice for some reason, which put more traffic in front of my house. And it's an egress, you know,
Okay, I
an
think we're
easement.
gonna have to move on here.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion, and I would like to move that we approve the street closure and alcohol permit for the Keg and Cask Festival, but to be amended to where it ends no later than 9 o'clock.
Moved by Councilor Park, seconded by Councilor Baylor to approve the request subject to a 9 o'clock closure. Further discussion?
How long typically does it take to clean up?
About 20 or 30 minutes.
Doesn't take long, but
It
usually.
it's a pretty quick thing, but that's why there's noise in the cleanup, because everybody's,
Well, couldn't we say it needs to be done by 10, not by 9?
That was what we were gonna clarify, because I mean, the event ends at 9, but we have till 10 o'clock to clean up.
Right.
But you don't need an hour.
No, most likely
So-
But
not,
that
but
way it would guarantee
Right.
that by the 10 o'clock hour, it's gonna be done. I think sometimes that's better than saying, okay, you have till 10 o'clock. Well, then everyone wants that one last little thing, so if we shut it off at 9, I think then it's all set.
I've done these several years, and most of the stuff is done by 8 o'clock, actually. People are not even, are moving out or else are over in the pub or down at the corner bar. So, I don't know exactly what all's going on. Anyway, after 9, if anything. Okay, any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion,
No, we already got a motion on the floor already. Then you can make a motion. You have to take this one first. Okay, call for the vote.
Councilor Baszler,
That was a nay.
Councilor Slavin,
Aye.
Councilor Bickerstaff,
Aye.
Councilor Clark,
Aye?
Councilor Coe,
I,
Councilor Fortune,
Aye.
Mayor Shorey.
Nay. That motion carries. Alrighty, next on the list of things to do is,
Okay, we're in old business, John.
oh, down in old business.
And basically, it was to clarify the mayor in regards to voting, being a voting member of the council, which he is in accordance with the charter. So ordinance 904 just brings us in line with the charter and it corrects our city code. Oh, and Your Honor, also, and since we are out of sorts with city code, I did put it to declare as an emergency that it would be in effect today after your vote, if you so approve.
Everybody's reviewed this, I think, probably more than once.
You have to have all that wording in there to declare an emergency?
Yes.
What does the mayor voting have to do with health and?
This is a standard blurb.
Is there a motion?
I move that we approve ordinance 904 and declare an emergency.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Moved by Councilor Coy, seconded by Councilor Clark, that we approve the ordinance. Further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote.
Mayor Short,
Aye.
Councilor Coe,
Aye.
Councilor Clark,
Aye.
Councilor Biggerstaff, Councilor Fortune,
Aye.
Councilor Baszler,
Hey,
Councilor Schlangen,
Motion carries. All right, we already beat the chamber discussion to death, so we will just move on past that. Junk amnesty.
Okay, junk amnesty, we've been discussing this over a number of meetings, and I have been in contact with Lake County Waste Management, and I am in the process of requesting a $1,500 fee waiver as part of the junk amnesty fees. As I understood it through the discussions, I saw it as that it's something we wanted, so I went ahead and started working the process to get us the fee waiver. And what that does is the cost of the boxes, of the dumpsters, the huge dumpsters, so they waive most of that for us. And as we know, junk amnesty is there to try and get the city cleaned up before tree planting, try and abate as many of the homes that may have junk vehicles, those kind of things, and the police department tries to use this as a tool to get folks to abate the junk and those kind of things in their homes. Gives them an opportunity to get it out, they don't have to pay for it. So, the mayor just wanted me to bring it up that we are headed towards that, and I should have all the documentation into them hopefully tomorrow. I just got done talking with them earlier this week.
Any questions?
So when would it be?
We are looking at April the 8th as the first day that they would start pickup through the
And it will be advertised,
19th.
right?
Yes,
So
we
people
will.
will know to call
Yes,
in.
that is correct. We will be doing a news release, we'll get everything out. So it'll be for 2 weeks,
Right.
the 8th through the 12th, and then 15th through the 19th. So it'll be for a 2-week period. Yes, sir.
How much does this actually cost us to do?
Around $4,500 to $5,000, so $3,500 on our part. And yeah, we do have the funds available for this. There's a lot of it. Some of it falls out of street, part of it is street, and then the 1,500 definitely covers a lot of it. So, and it also gives Chuck the opportunity. That's his kickoff to bring on his seasonal employees for the summer.
How much do we usually make on the recyclable metal and stuff?
Anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500-$1,600 on average is what we get back on recyclables.
So theoretically, it's about half of whatever you said it was.
Is there a real benefit to doing this? I mean, I'm not seeing a lot of trash out and about since we haven't had this for, 2 seasons now.
Oh, yeah, because it's out in the forest.
Well, I spend a lot of time out in the forest, and I'm still not seeing a lot of trash anywhere.
There have, the Forest Service officers have been abating trash out there, sofas, those kind of things. So, is it a benefit? Yes. One, it gives us an opportunity from the enforcement piece for the code person to say, hey, this week, you can get rid of this stuff. Here's your $500 or $1,000 ticket. You get this all done. You know, this goes away. So it gives us an opportunity to clean up, I mean, some of our worst homes, and we've got a bunch. We got a good bunch of them.
I guess the best way to find out is to do it and see how much we get.
It's a give back to the citizens.
I think, everybody looks forward to it, actually. I mean, everybody looks forward to it so they can get rid of their junk. And not only that, that's how everybody in Oakridge gets new stuff.
It's like your family.
Don, you had a question?
Well, my question probably pertained more to the earlier thing that you already voted on, but I was just curious how you can vote to spend money when you don't have an approved supplemental budget voted on yet.
You have to ask the city administrator.
Well, that's kind of what I'm doing.
Well, we have our current budget, so we can pay out of that. But again, the question was how we were gonna pay for it for the rest of the month. The rest of the months was, I was gonna add additional funds in the supplemental budget. But yes, we could pay for her right now out of the current budget. But we can't, okay, we can do it now. However, one of the purposes of the supplemental budget is, as I've told everybody, there's some places where we were spending and nothing was budgeted, but we do have money in the budget right now to pay it if we need to, so we can still pay. We have the cash position to do it, okay, but,
It wasn't from the general fund then, or the ones that were,
well, it would be, actually, it would be from professional services all the way through, because her functions cover all the funds. So that's how I could do it at this point. But my point is to up that line in supplemental budget. I can pay for it out of professional services at this point. So. We plan on probably having her hold tight until we get everything done. So.
Okay.
But yes, we could pay for it right now. Yes.
Is there a motion on the floor?
No.
All right, is there a motion on the floor?
Oh, what? Which part, Your Honor?
Oh, actually, this was a discussion item, wasn't it?
Right, Your
No,
Honor.
it isn't a discussion item, but it can be.
Junk amnesty? Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, to me, it was inferred in the other discussions that this is the way we wanted to go. So that's why I've been going, but yes, we could do a motion.
Should we wait until we find out about the fee waiver? We don't
Oh,
have the answer yet, right?
I'm pretty confident we'll get the fee waived. She pretty much told me that we would get the fee waived.
Why don't we go ahead and put it on the agenda for the next meeting?
Okay, all right, so, but yeah, I'll get everything turned in, and, we've done this for a number of years, and last year was the only year we hadn't done it. So. But yes, I can put it on the agenda as a action item.
Good. All right, moving right on, yellow bicycle program.
So, Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
I want to back up here a little bit.
okay.
And it really deals with our charter and adopting of ordinances. And if we go by our charter, which I think that we ought to, there's certain procedures to adopt an ordinance at a single meeting that we didn't do. I'm sorry, we had a reading at the last meeting.
No,
we did
no,
not
we
read
did
it.
not.
No, we didn't.
And Counselor Fortune is correct, because we should have read it by title only and then passed it. So we did not do that, so we can go ahead and go back to that so that we do, he is correct.
Section 2 says the council may enact an ordinance at a single meeting by unanimous vote of all council present, provided the ordinance is read first in full and then by title.
We're not gonna read it all through.
Pardon?
I said, I don't think you wanna read it the full word.
Well, let's see.
Oh, okay, well, we'll let you.
So
read
now,
it.
it said unanimous, it has to be unanimous?
Yeah.
So then, well, then it wasn't unanimous, so that means that we would have to bring it back
Okay.
and read it one more time.
The wheels won't stop turning because we don't pass it tonight.
Okay. But I do believe that we need to go through the process that.
Well, that's absolutely correct. I thought about that as we did it, but.
Yeah.
Sneak it
My
by.
mistake, you're
I
right.
thought we read it the last
Couldn't sneak
meeting.
it by him. Okay,
So that I think we need to go back to that.
That's
ordinance.
okay.
Does
you
that,
can still read it by title only tonight,
Okay.
and then bring it back next
And
week.
then we'll bring it back the next
It
meeting.
can be read twice by title only. Or something like that. Okay, moving right along, yellow bicycle program.
wait, are we supposed to read it by title tonight then?
No, I guess to me, the proper way of doing it was, that Mr. Mayor, I would move that we reconsider the adoption of ordinance 904.
Do I hear a motion to reconsider?
That was my motion.
Is there a second?
I second.
I move to reconsider our motion on ordinance 904. Were you on the prevailing side, by the way?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Call for the vote.
Counselor Biggerstaff?
Aye.
Counselor Clark?
Aye.
Counselor Slavin?
Aye.
Counselor Coe?
Aye.
Counselor Fortune?
Aye.
Mayor Shorey?
Aye.
Counselor Baisler?
Carries. Now what do you want to do?
We need to.
So I make a motion that we read the ordinance 904 by title only.
Is there a second? Then moved and seconded to read ordinance 904 by title only. Further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote.
Counselor Fortune?
Aye.
Counselor Clark?
Aye.
Mayor Shorey?
Aye.
Counselor Coe?
Aye.
Counselor Biggerstaff?
Aye.
Counselor Baisler? Counselor Slavin?
Aye.
Motion carries. Councilor Fortune will read it by title only.
Ordinance number 904, an ordinance concerning rules of procedure for city council meetings, amending section 3 of ordinance 680 and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. I think that's all we gotta do now, isn't it?
Read that slowly.
Next meeting.
And we'll read it by title only in the next meeting.
All right, that was fun.
Read the whole thing. Your Honor,